Hi everybody, it's Miss Landry, and I hope this year is starting off really well for you. Today is lesson 1, unit 1, starting right off the bat. So let's get into it. This has to do with thinking scientifically. So what we're going to go over in this video, it's a short video, but we're going to go over when I say something is science, like what does that mean? And then the scientific method, I know you guys have been over it time and time again, even some of you with me, but we're going to go over it one last time. Well, it's actually not one last time. You'll have it all 4 years at Kent in all your science classes. We're going to talk about reasoning and the 2 different types of reasoning, and then we'll look at observation and inference and do a fun activity when we're done. So let's get started. Before we start, make sure that you have your guided notes with you. You're going to fill them in as you complete this video. So let's start with, how would you say to someone, if someone said, what is science? What would be your answer? It's kind of hard, right? It's hard to define science. It's the study of what? It depends on what science. So I'm going to give you a few little statements, and I want you to decide if you think these are scientific or not scientific. So here we go. Ready? The first one. Joe failed the lie detector test when I asked him if he cheated. So are lie detectors scientific? Okay, I don't know if you've seen that movie, Meet the Parents. It's pretty funny. The next one, make sure you're putting your answers down on your guided notes. My sister is able to read minds and predict the future. I wish I had that ability. I know you guys will love this one. In 1969, we landed on the moon. There's a lovely little picture right there for you. So put your answer if you think yes or no, it's scientific. Crop circles are proof that aliens exist. And I love that picture of those crop circles. That one's really cool. Do you think that that statement is scientific or even crop circles? The Earth is a sphere. And finally, my horoscope says I should not work hard today. I wish my horoscope would say that. So let's go through these. First of all, lie detector test. There actually is no scientific evidence that shows that lie detectors actually detect lies. They definitely detect changes in skin electricity and in temperature and in heart rate, but that just could be nervousness or excitement. So this is not scientific. My sister's able to read minds and predict the future. ESP, extrasensory perception, is actually not considered a science. It is considered a pseudoscience. In 1969, we landed on the moon. Yes, we did. I am not part of those conspiracy theorists who think it's all fake. We did land on the moon. Crop circles are proof that aliens exist. No. To date, all crop circles have a valid reason behind them. Oftentimes they're hoaxes. The Earth is a sphere. Yes, it is not flat. Scientifically, we know it is a sphere. And finally, horoscopes are actually also pseudoscience. So hopefully you're starting to understand that what comes with science is support. So let's get into it. So the old scientific method, we used to say it was step-by-step process, and science doesn't work that way. So here you can see the old way of thinking, right? Observation, make a question, come up with a hypothesis, make a prediction, test your prediction, blah, blah, blah. That's not the way science actually works. The new method that I want you to know, it's constantly changing because our knowledge base is changing, our experiences are changing, what we have available to us is changing. So this is more of what it looks like. There's times where you're going to start your experiment and realize, no, there's a better way to do it. And so you're going to go back to the beginning. It could be that you figure out you can't actually experiment on your hypothesis. And so understand that the scientific method is a process and it is not linear. Those are the 2 things I really want you to know about it. I like to think of the scientific method more as a way of thinking. It's a way of thinking scientifically. Reasoning. I love reasoning. So there's 2 types of reasoning. We all do it. We all reason throughout our life. It's how we make sense of the world that we're living in. So the 2 types are inductive and deductive. Inductive is logical thinking that uses observations that are related to each other to go to a general conclusion. So it starts small with each observation, and then you apply that to the general. So I have a picture of a sunrise here, and you could kind of say to yourself, okay, well, every morning I've noticed that the sun rises in the east. Therefore, the sun must always rise in the east. So you can see I went from observations to a general statement. That's different than deductive reasoning, where you have a general principle and you filter it down into specific results. So, for example, all mammals, let me back that up. Mammals have lungs. Dolphins are mammals. Therefore, dolphins have lungs. So you can see I went from general down to specific. And you can see here are the dolphin's lungs. So just remember that inductive goes from, this is actually this is backwards, I think. We're going from small to large, and then deductive goes from large to small. So I think this picture is actually incorrect. If you know Sherlock Holmes, that's one of my favorite characters in literature. He is a deductive reasoning person. So he says, never theorize before you have data. Invariably, you end up twisting facts to suit theories instead of theories to suit facts. And I think that's really important. So don't make a decision before you have data. Last thing I want to talk about is observation versus inference. You guys have already done this before in middle school, I know, but observation is very factual. It's based on your 5 senses. We can agree on it. For example, the slide has a blue circle, although if you're colorblind, maybe not. A pink squiggly, it has 2 boxes, so on and so forth. The inference is what you do with those observations. So inference means to infer. I'm going to use my experience and my knowledge, and I'm going to figure out what's happening with those observations. So take a look at this picture, and I want you to write down 3 observations and 3 inferences. Go ahead and pause the video and come on back. All right, so in this video, some observations. The dog is running. It looks like there's a person running behind the dog. Now, I cannot say as an observation the owner, because that's an inference, right? I'm inferring that this person is the owner of this dog, maybe because they like green. I don't know, like the dog's harness and the person's outfit is both green, and because they're running towards the dog. I can't say they're running after the dog because we don't know that. Another observation, this looks like a golden retriever, or I could say it's an animal with fur and 4 legs. They're on a field. The sun is coming through the trees. Those are all observations. Inference, obviously I'm thinking this dog is running away from its owner, or the owner let it off the leash to exercise. So you can see that my experience with dogs leads me to those inferences. So in summary, we talked about science. What is it? We talked about the scientific method or scientific way of thinking. We talked about the 2 types of reasoning, inductive and deductive. And finally, we talked about the difference between observation and inference. This last quote is another Sherlock Holmes. We approached the case, you remember, with an absolutely blank mind, which is always an advantage. We formed no theories. We were simply there to observe and draw inferences from our observations. And that's what we hope to do in our class. And that's it. Thanks, guys.